Elite Facts presents.
You won't believe which celebrities were once homeless.
1.
The Rock became homeless twice in his life. One time, his family couldn't afford to pay the rent. We lived in this tiny place in Hawaii, me and my mom and my dad, with a kitchen area in one corner and the bed. I remember one day we came home and there's this eviction notice on the door and a big lock stopping us getting back in. We had no idea where we were going to sleep that night, and my mom just broke down, he explained, before adding that his family helped them out with the week's rent so they were allowed to get back into their home. I remember lying in bed that night, very grateful to have a bed to sleep in, and just thinking that I was going to start building my body so that I would never see my mom go through that again. On his path to becoming a WWE superstar, he also found himself sleeping in his old beat-up Pontiac car with just $7 in his pocket. Shows how a little determination can go a long way.
2.
The Latina superstar might be an absolute sex symbol, but many of you might not know about her hard-knock life before money and fame. Way before J-Lo became a fashion icon and a role model for girls around the world, she was sleeping on a sofa in her dance studio because her mom didn't always agree with her career choices. And the arguments between them often forced Lopez to find shelter where she worked. Her mom wanted Jennifer to go to college, while the famous star wanted to pursue a dancing career.
3.
Sylvester Stallone rolled the dice with his stardom, having wrote the Rocky script and tried to sell it to many studios. Even when some offered to buy it, he would only do so if he was the star of it, and in the end, he got his break. Despite the fact that as a young man he had to spend about 3 weeks sleeping at the Port Authority bus station, sell his dog to buy meals, and star in an adult film that was paying about $100 a day.
4.
Months before he released the gold hit Loser, which became a smash hit on MTV and literally saved the singer from further misery. Digging into Beck's past, we discovered that his lyrics were inspired by the rough time he experienced before he made it in the music business. When Beck first moved to New York City, poverty, homelessness, and lack of food were daily routines for Beck.
5.
You may consider the first and only black woman to win an Oscar as being synonymous with fame. Nevertheless, for Halle Berry, life hasn't always been easy. 2 failed marriages, a few bad relationships, and a suicide attempt might sound bad enough, but Halle spent some time being homeless at the beginning of her acting career as well. However, Halle confessed during an interview with the Reader's Digest that this experience made her stronger and taught her how to live through any situation, even if that meant she had to spend a few nights in a public shelter.
6.
Daniel Craig has enough money to feed him and his family for the rest of his life. A good thing too, since in an interview, Craig stated that he has done some pretty awful things in order to survive. Taking this statement into account, we're not surprised to learn that he slept on park benches while trying to make it big as an actor.
7.
Carmen Electra introduced herself to the world as the new Pamela Anderson in Baywatch. Unfortunately, she never became the ultimate sex symbol she was supposed to be. However, Carmen has not always lived a glamorous lifestyle. Thanks to her then-boyfriend's thievery, Carmen spent a couple of years homeless and in Los Angeles' shelters before finally getting a shot.
8.
Swank is one of Hollywood's most talented actresses, with 2 Oscars for Best Actress in a Leading Role under her belt and a luxurious home in the mecca of the movie industry. Back in the early 90s, however, when she and her mother moved to Los Angeles and before Hilary started her acting career, they had to sleep in the car.
9.
The most famous actor of the first half of the 20th century, and without a doubt the king of the silent era, had a really tough time growing up. His father died when Charlie was young, and his mother, who was bipolar, was often hospitalized in different asylums, leaving Chaplin to work and sleep on the cold streets of London before he was even 10 years old.
10.
Jim Carrey is nowadays one of the greatest comedic actors of our generation, but life wasn't always that funny or generous to him. The youngest child in his family, when he was only 15, his father lost his job, and everything in the Carrey family's life quickly spiraled out of control, and they lost their apartment. The family then moved into their van, where they spent a significant amount of time until they rented a new place, and Jim left school to work as a janitor to support his family.
11.
Most Jim Morrison fans will tell you how Jim lived during his short but great career in a cheap hotel on La Cienega Boulevard in Los Angeles. But not many know that before Morrison made it big, he used to be homeless and slept in just about any place you can literally imagine. rumors have it that he even spent quite a few nights under the pier at Venice Beach.
12,
What comes to mind when you first hear the name Steve Jobs? Success and the riches of Apple. What if we told you that the co-founder of Apple Inc. was once broke and homeless? He also returned Coke bottles for the nickel deposits to buy food, while he would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal at the Hare Krishna temple.
13,
Kelly Clarkson is the original American Idol, thanks to winning one of America's favorite reality TV music talent competitions at the end of its first season. However, before her hit singles dominated the charts and brought her millions in record sales, Clarkson spent a lot of time trying hard and being homeless. Shortly after moving to Los Angeles, her new apartment burnt down and the singer, who was unemployed and broke at the time, had to live in her car or at shelters.
14,
At one point, Guns N' Roses ruled the world of music. This was down to vocal supremo Axl Rose, who has the largest vocal range on record ever noted in the music industry, and his ability as a frontman. When he first moved to California and before he made it big, the famous rock star slept on his friend's floor.
15,
Sam Worthington went from a homeless actor to megastar overnight, and that's not even an overstatement, though we don't know much about Sam's history before he became the hero in multiple blockbusters. He did confess that he was sleeping in his car when he auditioned for the role of Jake Sully in Avatar. Now he's enjoying life in his little palace in Hawaii.
16,
The queen of 90s country music and probably the most commercially successful female country singer ever can probably enjoy any kind of luxury she desires. However, way before Shania conquered the charts, she struggled with a series of problems including poverty, domestic violence, and homelessness. She stayed in various shelters in Toronto and slept on buses, while at 22, she had to raise and provide for her younger siblings after their parents died in a tragic car accident.
17,
Steve Harvey has many things to be thankful for. Back in the late 80s, life wasn't anything like it is now for Steve, and after a bad marriage and an even worse divorce, he found himself homeless, sleeping in hotels or in his 1976 Ford Tempo, depending on his budget. Saying, "I had nowhere to go. A week is really the maximum one can do." This was 3 years. It was rock bottom, but even in my darkest days, I had faith it would turn around.
Thanks for watching another amazing video, folks. Subscribe for more from Elite Facts.